A message from Lilith. Stories of creation greetings, dearest ones. I am Lilith. Today I promised the Keeper that I would try to moderate my language to address a wider audience, yet the ferocity of my message will not be soothed. I am the ninth and final component of the group of 9. I incarnated elsewhere, in other dimensions, only to return to Earth and discover now that my name and my story have been rewritten to create separation and fear. Many have believed the dark tales told about me. Shame on you. In your creation stories, I was the first woman, and I am here to re-establish the truth. For now is a unique moment for all of humanity to realize a change in direction. Not long ago, a crack formed in reality, and I re-emerged. A fermentation is permeating the multiple levels of existence. It is not happening only on your Earth, but in many corners of the cosmos. The feminine spiral is rising on Earth to achieve the balance necessary to transition to this next level of everything that exists. Understand, dearest ones, that this is not a rebellion against the masculine. It is not a correction through conquest. It is a remembering of the balance achieved by many others in the cosmos. It is time to hold hands and nurture one another, not only on Earth, but also with the many others who are here now and are about to reveal themselves. For millennia on your planet, power has often been measured in terms of strength, speed, structure, property, and control. These are not negative things. Indeed, at the dawn of humanity, they were even useful. However, you have long since outgrown the need for this imbalance, which now risks hindering you. The masculine and the feminine are simply incomplete when acting alone. The masculine principle builds the container, but the feminine fills it with life. The masculine can point the sword towards a goal, but the feminine asks, will this path heal, nourish, and include? One without the other creates distortion. Together, they create worlds. The planet Earth and humanity have been in imbalance for a long time. The natural spiral of the universe is opening an opportunity for change and the return of balance. Are you ready to lay down the sword? Let me tell you a story about such a world I recently found myself in. Far beyond the reach of your telescopes, beyond the familiar maps of your skies, there existed a planet called Eris. It was not the exoplanet you discovered, but rather a multi-dimensional aspect of Earth. It shimmered with violet oceans, silver forests, and mountains that seemed to hum softly during full moons. Eris was a world of great beauty, and on this planet, women were the dominant species. Now, dominion on Eris did not mean what has often meant on Earth. The women of Eris did not rule through oppression. They ruled through harmony. They deeply listened to the rivers, the unborn, the elders, the dreams of children, and even the silence between words. Their councils were round, their temples open to the sky, and their economy was based not on scarcity, but on circulation. No one owned the water. No one sold seeds. No one was praised for hoarding what others needed. For a long time, Eris was also in imbalance, yet we observed and changed. For thousands of years, Eris flourished. The feminine principle guided everything. Healing was honored. Birth was sacred. Intuition was taught as a language. Emotions were not considered a weakness, but, as for us, something to observe, understand, and respect, much like the weather. Yet, even paradise can lose its balance. Over time, the women of Eris began to distrust the masculine principle. Not men themselves, for there were also men on Eris, but the energy of masculinity itself. They associated direction with domination, structure with imprisonment, ambition with violence, and protection with control. So, they dulled everything. Decisions took longer and longer. Boundaries became blurred. The young were encouraged to feel every emotion, but weren't always taught how to navigate them. Creativity was abundant, but many visions remained unfinished. The planet had been benevolent, but it began to lose momentum. Then came the season of the red winds. Every 700 years, Eris would pass through a field of cosmic dust that tinged the skies crimson. Usually, it was harmless, even beautiful. But this time, the winds carried a strange mineral that settled in the violet oceans and dimmed the silver forests. Crops weakened. The healing waters lost some of their song. The councils gathered for many days and nights, listening, dreaming, and waiting for guidance. Among them was a young woman named Sarah. Sarah was not considered wise by Eris's standards. She was too direct. She asked uncomfortable questions. She loved the ancient feminine traditions but also loved tools, bridges, maps, and machines. As a child, she had built small wind hoods from shells and bones, devices that could transform stormy currents into stored energy. The elders smiled at her inventions, but many whispered, "She has too much blade in her spirit." One night, as the red winds howled across the crystal plains, Sarah stood before the great council and said, "We have listened deeply. Now we must act with clarity." Silence fell. An elder replied, "Action without full harmony can wound the world." Sarah bowed her head. "Yes, but harmony without action can also wound the world." Her words troubled the council. Some found her disrespectful. Others felt something stir within them, something ancient and almost forgotten. Sarah proposed building great resonant towers along the coasts. These towers would not oppose the red winds. They would receive them, filter the mineral dust, and send purified currents back into the atmosphere. This would require precision, discipline, coordination, and respect for timelines, typically masculine expressions. But the project itself was born from listening to the planet's deep feminine wisdom. The council hesitated. Then an old male named Tor stepped forward. On Eris, males were highly valued but rarely took leadership roles. Tor had spent his life as a stonekeeper, studying the bones of mountains. He spoke softly. "Sarah's plan will work." Many turned to him, surprised. He continued, "But not because it dominates the wind. It works because it gives the wind a sacred task." After heated discussion, the council authorized the work to begin. For 40 days and 40 nights, the people of Eris worked together. Women led the design teams. Men and women shaped the towers. Children chanted, tuning melodies to the stones. Elders blessed every foundation. For the first time in generations, Eris rediscovered the joy of purposeful action. Not frantic action. Not controlling action. Sacred action. Finally, the towers stood like silver lilies along the coasts. When the red winds returned, they roared into the towers. The entire planet trembled. Some feared the towers would shatter. But then came the magical spiral. The towers didn't just purify the winds. They began to sing. The sound spread across the oceans, into the forests, beneath the mountains, and into the hearts of every being on Eris. In that song, the people heard something astonishing. The planet itself had never been dying. It had been transforming. The red winds had not brought poison, but an unintegrated gift, a mineral capable of awakening new life, but only if balanced by conscious structure. Within weeks, the silver forests turned to gold. The oceans, once violet, took on a radiant blue-green hue. New fruits appeared, sweeter than any ever known. The weakened crops grew strong. The healing waters returned with a deeper tone. And Sarah, the girl said to carry too much sword, became known not as a rebel, but as the first bridge. She taught the people of Eris that the feminine does not lose power when embracing the masculine. It becomes more complete. The feminine is not here only to comfort. It is here to create, to lead, to protect life, to speak truth, to birth new systems, and to insist that abundance be shared. The masculine is not here only to command. It is here to focus, to hold stability, to build forms worthy of love, and to act in service of life. Dearest ones, I bring you this message of hope for humanity. The empowerment of the feminine is not a trend. It is a planetary necessity. It is the return of wisdom to power, compassion to leadership, intuition to science, and reverence for creation. But true empowerment does not ask women to become wounded versions of men. It asks all beings to honor the feminine within themselves. The part that listens, nurtures, includes, feels, receives, and knows. At the same time, the empowered feminine does not reject the masculine. It blesses it, refines it, and invites it home. The future of Earth will not be built through domination. It will be born through balance. When the feminine rises with an open heart and a clear voice, and when the masculine stands beside her in service rather than control, humanity will discover what Eris discovered. The storm was not the end. It was the invitation. Hold this hope close, dearest ones. The winds on Earth are changing too. As a group of 9, we ask you to treat each other with respect, support one another, and play well together. I am Lilith, known as the First Woman. I have returned, and I love you deeply. The medicine of small rituals. Find yourself again with the quiet devotion of daily gestures and transform weariness into sacred care, one tender ritual at a time. I have learned that healing is rarely loud. It doesn't always come from great awakenings or perfect routines, but from the smallest, most ordinary acts of returning to oneself. We all carry invisible wounds, fatigue, pain, disconnection, And one effective way to begin healing them is through tenderness disguised as habit. Sometimes healing sounds like a song you pretend was written for you, a quiet song you let envelop you. It's melody tracing the contours of your loneliness until you feel held. Other times it smells like cocoa butter, glistening on your skin as your palms move slowly, reverently, as if caressing a loved one. It can feel like evening air filling your lungs as you walk without a specific destination, your steps syncing with the silence of dusk, your body remembering how to relax. These moments seem ordinary, but within them, something sacred stirs. They are small rituals, daily devotions that remind us that being alive is an act of care. Tenderness and habit, my rituals were never grand. They were small, sensual, ordinary things. Pouring oil onto my hands, massaging cream into my skin until it shone, avoiding sad songs when sadness already threatened to overwhelm me. They were the ways I whispered to myself, "You deserve to be loved," again and again, until those words began to feel true, on days when I absolutely refused to abandon myself to misery. I couldn't always put into words what I needed to heal. I only knew I was tired of the hardness, tired of confusing endurance with strength. My small rituals became my silent rebellion against numbness. At some point, the fog began to lift, and I noticed something I had never seen before. I loved pink. A soft powder pink, a deep rose pink, a shimmering pastel pink. It was like a secret language my heart had been waiting a long time to speak. Loving pink meant loving tenderness, reclaiming softness after years of resistance and fighting for survival. For me, color became memory, a kind of proof that even after pain, the body does not forget beauty. For someone else, it might be yellow, or the smell of rain, or morning tea. The language of healing is different for everyone, but it always begins with noticing what brings us back. Immersed in presence water has taught me more than any ritual. It completely calms me. When I am sad, irritable, or just apathetic, a simple shower becomes a refuge. The first touch of water on my skin makes me giggle, as if a secret joy has discovered me. Droplets slide down my arms, my shoulders, carrying away heaviness, whispering that pain is not permanent. Sometimes it's so powerful that I laugh with joy, my chest trembling with relief as the water envelopes me. Water has the power to teach presence. You can't rush it. It insists you slow down, feel every drop, let go. I go to the pool when I feel overwhelmed. Even though I don't know how to swim, I float and move in the water, letting it surround me as if it has a life of its own. Water has the power to transform all the heaviness, pain, and tension into something wonderful. The soft resistance of the liquid against my limbs, the laughter bubbling from my throat, the peace that comes from simply being immersed. In water, I find a freedom I can't put into words, a temporary surrender that makes me lighter, calmer, more myself. Even the feeling of steam on my face after a long day becomes a small ritual of pleasure. The mist brings warmth like a lover's embrace, softening the edges of my fatigue. I close my eyes, let the heat press against my skin, and breathe slowly, noticing how my chest expands with each inhalation. Tenderness in the everyday, now I allow myself small pleasures. A baby lotion, soft and creamy, a light dusting of powder on my skin, vanilla-scented oils that linger long after application, a delicate, comfortable pair of pajamas that turns bedtime into a true ceremony. In a world that celebrates productivity at the expense of peace, these moments are my silent protest, a reminder that even joy is sacred. Every scent, every touch, every fold of fabric becomes a statement. I am allowed to feel pampered. I am allowed to feel tenderness. This is not just about routine, but about affirmations that my body, my senses, my being deserve care. That gentleness may live in my hands, on my skin, in the rhythm of daily life. In the evening, I slowly massage cream into my skin, as if caring for a sacred object. The gesture is simple, the oil penetrating my pores, my hands caressing my arms and legs, but the meaning is profound. I am teaching my body that it belongs to love, not violence. That I can hold it gently, touch it as if it were newborn. I have become my own caretaker. The mother who refused to pass on cruelty, the one who broke curses by choosing kindness instead of judgment. This is what ritual does. It transforms survival into ceremony. It reminds us that even the smallest gestures, washing, resting, listening, touching, can become prayers when performed with awareness. Melodies of tenderness music also sustains me. I have learned not to press play when pain oppresses me. No more sad songs when I'm feeling melancholy. Pain certainly doesn't need a soundtrack. Instead, I surrender to music that cradles me. I imagine every lyric was written for me, every note proof that I deserve to be loved. Even if all this is from my imagination, it has become my medicine. It reminds me that love exists and that one day it might be mine again, starting with the love I give myself. When I make mistakes, I practice speaking gently to my heart. I call myself sweetheart. I tell myself, it's okay, sweetheart. Next time we'll try again. That single word carries centuries of tenderness. It makes me feel held, not punished. Calling myself sweetheart is how I unlearned harshness. It's how I began treating myself as someone who deserves protection. Day after day, these rituals rewrite my story. They teach me that healing is not thunder, but a candle lit each night. It is not a miracle that strikes me, but a rhythm I choose. Tea at the same time. A song that reminds me of love. An oil that makes my skin shine. The pink that softens my gaze. The water that washes away pain. The steam that warms my cheeks. The lotion and baby powder that soothe my skin. The vanilla that wraps me in sweetness. Pajamas that make bedtime sacred. A voice, my own voice, saying, you are still here. You are still worthy. Healing, in the end, is not the absence of pain, but the return of tenderness. The medicine of small rituals lies in this. They do not cure the chaos, but they welcome you within it. They do not erase the pain, but they teach you to love yourself through it. And by loving yourself tenderly, you give the world permission to do the same. The celestial white beings, co-creating your reality of love, joy, and belonging, dearest ones, we welcome you. We have looked forward to you connecting with us, to you rejoicing in our presence, to you delighting in this new connection, this new undertaking, this new adventure still to be explored, still to be discovered. We are truly happy to say that many of you have contacted us, spontaneously, sincerely, and directly. We have been very pleased to see your joy, your interest, your desire to get in touch with us, and we answer you all with great pleasure, joy, and readiness, because we always wish to quench your heart's thirst for that love which is available to you, which is here for you, which wishes to pour itself into your cup, which wishes to embrace you, which wishes to take care of you, as the entire universe does. And we want you to know, dearest ones, that you are always invited to this wonderful communion of love that we, the celestial white beings, co-create for you together with the universe and all that is, all the beauty that is readily available to you. Everything you could desire is readily available to you through this connection, because everything can truly be manifested, in positive ways, naturally, for the most positive outcome, for your highest good, for the highest good of all. Dearest ones, you do not have to suffer in isolation and loneliness. Come forward and present yourselves, and we will be ready to welcome you, to hold your hand and listen to you, to listen deeply to your heart, your soul, your being. We ardently desire to co-create this reality with you, this reality of union, of love, of joy, of immense happiness, of belonging, of inclusion. The very reality of the planet, of your planet, that you yourselves desire, a reality full of love, inclusion, union, and beauty. This reality is available to you. It is available for you. You can always contact us and share with us what is non-negotiable for you. Communicate to us in the most positive way possible your deepest desires, your most hidden aspirations, or how you would like things to happen, to work, to be structured and realized. We will do everything possible so that this is taken into consideration, both for you personally and as a collective consciousness. And so, we could gather many different non-negotiables, many different desires and requests. We can create a beautiful starting point, a solid foundation, based on this information, based on this data, and this will help you to have a robust base in your personal lives and, again, in the collective ones as well. You can include all your dreams, all your deepest desires, all your joys and hopes, and we will take them into account. We will take them into account so that they may have an impact on your personal life and so that others may also benefit. And this is not an exceptional or one-time event. We can repeat the process as many times as you wish, until you see the changes in your life, until you perceive them, and until you are satisfied with the result. We can always repeat this process until it fully satisfies you, and your reality is made not of immense joy, but of bliss. Dearest ones, we always applaud when you are happy and everything goes well in your lives, so that you may rejoice at your pleasure, in your fullness, happiness, and satisfaction. We love to create for you conditions that you will find surprising, wonderful, and deeply regenerating. We love to create for you the conditions where you can finally find peace, feel at ease, and let go, where you finally understand that you can truly drop the struggle and can simply be, rejoice, and enjoy the splendid adventure you are living. So, dearest ones, do not hesitate. Our door is always open. We always answer the bell. We always answer the phone. We love you, and we care about you. And we truly wish for you to know this. We truly wish for this to be a calling card you can read every day. We love you immensely, and we will be back very soon. Take care of yourselves. The universe loves you too. Warmly, the celestial white beings. The great planetary shift, awakening, transformation, and the rise of a new Earth by July of this year. Many of those undertaking the ascension may begin to perceive reality as increasingly surreal. The old three-dimensional paradigm is gradually dissolving, while a higher level of consciousness and perception emerges through the process of collective awakening. Significant energetic changes are occurring that will profoundly alter the perspective of those who ascend. For some of them, reality might seem completely turned upside down. This can generate inner confusion, emotional intensity, and uncertainty as individuals adapt to rapid internal and external changes. Souls who have engaged in deep inner work and the evolution of consciousness will be among the first to reach higher states of awareness. These pioneering souls are contributing decisively to the ascension of Gaia, the Earth, and represent the unitary consciousness necessary for planetary transformation. They are the bridge between the old energetic world and the emerging new Earth reality. As humanity moves towards this new phase, information is being assimilated much more quickly than before. Integration, healing, and energetic coherence are accelerating, allowing the ascending self to process experiences faster, achieve greater emotional balance, and become less reactive to external stimuli. Humanity is entering a phase where radical transformations are occurring that go far beyond the limits of linear understanding. Often, human beings believe they can predict events and control reality through logic alone. We know, however, that the functioning of higher intelligence and universal consciousness is not based on linear structures. The intelligence guiding the evolution of our planet is far more advanced than current human perception can fully comprehend. It is this higher consciousness that will ultimately transform humanity and the planet. Current systems of control and authority are based on old energetic structures that no longer resonate with the new generations entering the planet. A massive energetic misalignment is occurring. For this reason, a growing number of people within the collective are beginning to question governments, institutions, and authoritarian control. Collective awakenings are happening moment by moment as consciousness accelerates and expands across our planet. Much of this awakening has been influenced by the energetic contribution of star seeds, the oldest souls on this planet, who came here imprinted with the memory and experience of planetary transformation. Most ascending souls have undergone incarnations, amnesia, and deep spiritual forgetting as part of Earth's great experiment. The deepest purpose was to discover whether something within humanity would eventually awaken and recognize the light from which it originated. That memory is now emerging. As the planet evolves, ancient soul memories and latent activations are beginning to awaken and activate in many. This highlights a significant turning point in humanity's ascension path. In the next 2 to 5 years, the current phase of transformation will seem insignificant compared to what has yet to happen. Numerous advancements await ascending souls on this planet, developments that go far beyond current imagination and understanding. Humanity stands on the threshold of an evolutionary process of far greater magnitude. Sometimes, those who are ascending may feel they are repeatedly encountering the same teachings about ascension, concerning the release of old conditioned energy, the abandonment of false beliefs, healing from trauma, and detachment from attachments. This repetition can become exhausting because the physical body is processing and expressing everything that has been deeply repressed and rooted over lifetimes and generations. The body itself has carried extremely dense emotional and energetic imprints, making this transformation deeply challenging on every level. Yet, this process is also revealing the extraordinary resilience of the spirit and the human body. As humanity heals, so does the planet. As human beings remember their true origins, Gaia also reclaims hers. This is a universal collaboration between consciousness, humanity, and the Earth itself, the living creature. Those who ascend will not always feel fatigued, lost, uncertain, or emotionally overwhelmed. As trust deepens and alignment strengthens, a more harmonious and authentic reality begins to form. Behind the scenes, a profound energetic reorganization is taking place in preparation for the next phase of collective evolution and first contact consciousness. The next 18 months will be among the most significant humanity has ever experienced to date. Many ascending souls may move unexpectedly, encounter soul family ties, experience new opportunities aligned with their true purpose, and orient themselves towards lifestyles that promote greater health, well-being, and spiritual harmony. Alignment with New Earth consciousness encourages authenticity, truth, and inner integrity. Living sincerely becomes the foundation for living authentically. The creation of a new reality is beginning to take shape. The most difficult phase of the journey is nearing its conclusion. For the ancient souls, the light keepers, the guides, and the pioneers, this is the final stretch of an immense and arduous cycle of transformation. The purpose was never perfection through the human self. The purpose was always to embody divinity through learning, action, compassion, balance, and conscious living. The purpose of collective ascension has always been to guide future generations by demonstrating another way to follow, by being an authentic example. This is what builds a world far beyond fear, separation, and control. A world built on truth, equality, harmony, unity, healing, and higher consciousness for all humanity. In service to ascension, with love and dedication. Brought to you by the Ascension Lightworkers. Saint Germain, navigating extreme changes. Rob. So I see myself at the Temple of the Violet Flame in Atlantis. We're right in front of the temple door. But as usual, it's on a pyramid, so we're very high, elevated, above the city. Saint Germain, we are obviously in a phase of rather radical change, a transitional phase, and it always strikes me how people resist, and even get agitated in the face of the changes happening. Do you have any advice to share with all of us going through this process? Saint Germain, greetings everyone. As always, it's a pleasure to visit you. I brought you here to Atlantis to remind you how extreme the change you are living through is. What you are experiencing now is not very different from what happened in Atlantis in the past. Many of you are there. Many of you have now decided that this time will be different. This time, there won't be large-scale destruction, at least not in a physical sense. And it's also good to connect with you through this underlying sense of humor, because none of this needs to be taken too seriously. And it is precisely this sense of humor that will help you face what is happening now and what has yet to happen. You are right, Rob. In your assessment, everything happening is simply a natural phase of change. You are in a state of transition, a transition towards what you affectionately call Nova Earth, Nova Gaia. All of society will change for the better. You are in the midst of this change. Much of your life, your existence there, so many aspects of your life will change, as you have rightly established. You, as humanity as a whole, understand what is no longer needed, and you are choosing a better way, a better system. Therefore, any part of the old system that must collapse to make way for the new must, in fact, crumble. Some don't like that term. Crumble evokes thoughts of destruction. But regardless of how you see it, if the old system is no longer functional, it must collapse, one way or another. Whether through a gradual or abrupt transition, it must disappear to make way for the new. And you must hold in your heart the vision of what you want to replace it with. And the more time you spend fighting the change, the more time could be spent, instead, imagining how that future state should, could, will be. If you want the transition to finish, to happen faster, then dedicate yourself to imagining what you desire. It is your intention that makes it happen. You are on the right track. All of you, collectively, are on the right track to make this happen. But the more people among you resist the change, the more the process slows down. When you see others reacting poorly, set the goal of showing them what a peaceful transition should look like. There's no need for drama. No need for chaos. These are all your interpretations, based on false beliefs. Let them go. Focus on what you desire. Ultimately, peace through harmony, with everything, with others, with nature, with life in general. But above all, unity. The unity of all humanity. This does not mean you all have to think the same way, have the same ideas. Each of you can have different ideas about what you desire, and that's okay. That's the beauty of the transition. Respect everyone else's beliefs without judging them. Above all, go about your life maintaining the hope that a better world is coming, because it is indeed already happening. But do it with humility, aware that you are not better than anyone else. But, at the same time, you are neither worse nor inferior to anyone, including all those who are part of the company of heaven. Align yourself with the will of the Mother Father One. Release any belief of being inferior, and maintain the passion to see a better world, a world that works for everyone. And in the end, you will find that state of heaven on earth. You, all of you, are making it possible. And I repeat, the sooner you dedicate yourselves to visualizing what you desire and holding that intention in your heart, the sooner it will be realized. Eliminate all resistance to the change that awaits you, and you will discover that the transition will happen much more smoothly, with ease and grace. We are truly happy with the progress you're making. Everything is going for the best. It's not complete yet, but in the next short period, change will happen very quickly and, in some ways, even more radically than it has been so far, if you can believe it. But it doesn't matter, because every big change simply means you are one step closer to what comes next. And that is the prize. Once again, keep that vision alive, keep that intention alive, and simply let it happen. I hope this encourages you, because that is my intent. That said, I'll step aside and leave you with my blessings and my love. Goodbye for now. The 9D Arcturian Council. Why are there cameras everywhere? Greetings. We are the Arcturian Council. We are pleased to connect with all of you. We are excited to be here with you again and to present you with this update, this progress report. You are obviously seeing more than you have ever seen before, thanks to cameras everywhere, people filming everything, and the internet, which allows you to share photos, videos, and messages. You have greater knowledge of what others think, feel, and believe. Consequently, there is a greater chance that you will experience resistance, judgment, and even fear. And it is precisely these emotions that need to come up for you to purge. So, you don't simply have more information at your fingertips to point fingers, hate, and know who not to vote for. You have more information available to you so that you can be triggered. You need to be triggered, because that's how you understand exactly what you still need to work on. So, it's always about you and not about others. And anything you find on the internet that speaks about them, and what they're doing to all of us, know that the person who wrote that post or made that video is upset and needs help. And that is precisely what you can do for those who play the victim and spread a victim mentality. You can offer them your healing. You can stop judging those who judge others, and you can simply go to another website, channel, or social platform. You are not obliged to continue listening to those who spread that kind of rhetoric. You are not a victim. No one is a victim. Everyone is a creator and a co-creator. And anyone who is abusing their power, whether it's a government official, a bank, a corporation, a billionaire, whoever it may be, is doing so with your consent. They are playing the role you asked them to play. So, there's no need for you to criticize them with your posts. There's no need for you to point them out. You just need to understand that you are being triggered because you believe that others, outside of you, have more power than you do in creating your reality, and that belief is a myth. That belief is absolutely false. You are creating 100% of everything, all the time, all day, every day. Everything you experience and encounter is your creation. Accept this and acknowledge that the emotions you feel in response to what you see on the internet are your business. You must manage them. You must work on yourself to not be overwhelmed, because everything that exists out there was not only created by you for you, but was also created by Source. And everything you see out there also comes from Source. And all of this means you are meant to accept, allow, forgive, and heal. You are not meant to eliminate anything that Source created for you to experience. You are meant to grow from everything and through everything, and you can do this because you are awake. You, who are part of the Awakened Collective, have the knowledge, you have the tools, you have everything you need to use everything you are exposed to in order to rise above it. Or, in the case of positive things, you're meant to be inspired by them. You're meant to feel love and peace from some of the things you see out there, in the world and online. But use all of this for the exponential growth that is available to each of you. We are the Arcturian Council, and we have enjoyed connecting with you.